Howdy, guys. Welcome to night 52 of Big Brother All-Stars, and this is Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. Hope y'all had a fantastic Friday. It's the weekend. Good Saturday morning to y'all. We did have the nomination ceremony, so just as a little bit of a refresher, Cody is HOH. We had the nomination ceremony yesterday, and on the block are David and Kevin. Is anyone surprised? No, I don't think so. We all knew that was coming. So for all of y'all who said, oh, Cody is HOH, this is going to be a boring week, you're right so far. We'll see if it changes. But so far, completely as expected, Kevin and David are on the block. So let's get into some of the conversations that have happened overnight. First of all, in the love room, Christmas and David are talking. Christmas is saying, look, David, just to tell you, if I get picked as house guest choice or just my name is drawn for the veto competition, which should be today, she says, I'm going for the prizes. I'm not going for the veto. Now, Christmas better be careful. She seems very secure when she says this, but the reality is Danny is gunning for Christmas, and she's planting some seeds and some conversations with Nicole, with Cody, so she wants Christmas out if at all possible. And there's other people who've mentioned Christmas's name as well as a potential backdoor. But Christmas is saying, I'm just playing for the prizes. I don't even care about the veto if I get the opportunity. So in the love room, just a little bit after that, Kevin and David are talking. And this is referencing the conversation, the backdrop that you see right here. This conversation actually took place a little bit before the nomination ceremony itself. It's not really part of the overnight feeds, but Cody talked about it so much all night long that we need to go ahead and cover it. And I'll cover it through a lot of different conversations. What actually happened in that conversation is recited to different house guests throughout the evening that Cody talked to. So Kevin is talking to David and saying, look, Cody is definitely coming for me, David. You're good this week because Cody's coming for me. He was always kind of coming for me, but especially after our conversation, you're good this week. He says that the conversation didn't go well at all. It didn't go well at all. Again, it's really bothered Cody. He's repeated a lot throughout the evening. Kevin is saying that, hey, David, Cody only ever even came to me right before a competition, just in case I won the competition. He would come talk to me for a little bit. But other than that, he never even talked to me. So he's feeling like Cody really did not give him the time of day. A little bit later in the love room, this time David's talking to Enzo. David really kind of held reign in the love room, talking to a lot of people throughout a portion of this evening. So Enzo's talking to David, and Enzo is saying, yo, David, if I get this veto, we're backdooring someone. You and Kevin are safe. I don't want y'all going home. We're going to win the veto. We're going to backdoor someone else. So y'all don't have to worry. Well, now, first of all, yes, Enzo could win the veto, but he's not the one that does the renomination. So in terms of backdooring and such, he really doesn't have a say on the matter. But he's talked about it. He is ready to backdoor someone. As it turns out, it sounds like Christmas may be who he'd like to backdoor. We'll talk about that again in a little bit. But that's what he's saying. Now, here's the other thing. If Enzo wins a veto, I don't think there's a chance in the world that he's actually going to use it. Not at all. But Enzo's talking it up a lot and telling David, you're good, my friend. You are not going anywhere. So in the key room, Christmas and Cody are talking. Cody's recounting this conversation with Kevin yet again. He's saying, look, Christmas, Kevin says he told you that I wanted to have Kevin a have-not in order to weaken him. Well, it actually wasn't Cody who said that. It wasn't Christmas who said that. It was Tyler who made that particular recommendation. But Kevin is telling Cody, saying, yeah, Christmas told me that you wanted to do that. Christmas is saying, no. I said it was Kevin's turn since he hadn't been a have-not since week 1. That's what I said. I didn't talk anything about trying to weaken anyone. I didn't tell him that anyone else said that either. I just did not do it. Christmas also mentioned, she says, what do you think? Kevin's nomination speech, the nomination ceremony, it was very, very interesting, wasn't it? We don't know what it was yet. We didn't see it on the live feeds. We won't see it until the Sunday night show. But apparently it got some people's attention. Finally, within that conversation, Cody is saying, look, Kevin told me that he would not have put me up if he got HOH. And so I asked him, said, all right, well then, Kevin, who would you have put up instead? And he said, Kevin said, well, I already told Danny who it was going to be. I would have put Memphis up, not you. So Cody is saying, Kevin is saying I should have never come after him because he wasn't going after me. But, I don't care. It's just a game move. So after Cody leaves the key room, Christmas looks up to the cameras, just talking to him, says, Kevin is a snake. He threw me under the bus with these conversations. I didn't say all this stuff. He's treating me horrible. And she's saying, I'm through with it. I'm through being nice to him. I won't be intentionally mean to him, but I'm not going to be nice to him next week. I'm through with it. Kevin can go on home. So in the HOH room, Cody and Enzo are talking. Once again, Cody's recounting the conversation with Kevin to Enzo. And in this conversation, or this part of it, he's talking about the fact that Kevin told Cody that the world did not revolve around him. Cody, the world doesn't revolve around you. Cody did not like this. He talked about this all night long. Kevin says it doesn't revolve around you, and I'm not going to have a pity party for you while you're in HOH and while I'm on the block for the 5th time. That's not the way it works, Cody. Cody did not like hearing that at all. So in the have-not room, Kevin and Enzo are talking. Kevin is talking about just how mad Cody got during this meeting. And he's saying that Cody told him, Cody said, Kevin, you never came to me talking game ever. We never had those kind of conversations. But Kevin is saying, but I told Cody that he never approached me, and that when I would approach him, he would shut down the conversation. And I'd walk in the room, he would shut down any game discussion. If I tried to talk game with him, he'd shut it down. So him using it as an excuse is nothing but that. It's just an excuse. Now, here's the interesting part about this particular conversation also. Kevin tells Enzo, says, hey, it's tit for tat. If Cody wants to go after me, whatever. It's a game. I get it. But it's also a game who I give my vote to in a jury vote. And he's not getting my vote. I hope he knows he's not getting my vote when he treats me like this. So Kevin is definitely making the threat that Cody is going to have some issues with jury management if this is the way he wants to play the game. So in the HOH room, Christmas, Nicole, and Cody are talking. Cody is saying, look, David and Kevin are on the block, but I'm not telling either one of them they're the target. I'm not talking about that. We all know it's Kevin, but officially he's not telling either one that they're the actual target. So in the love room, we've got Cody and David. Again, David talking, everyone in the love room. Cody and David talking, and Cody is telling David, saying, David, you and I feel like we've gotten tight here recently. I am sorry I had to put you on the block. It's nothing personal. It was just I had to do it from a game move standpoint, but I have got your back. Just trust me, David, I've got your back. He is all but saying that David is not going home. David is not the target, which is true. It's Kevin that's primary target, so David should be safe unless Kevin wins a veto, and then we'll see what happens. Cody leaves the love room, and soon after that, the feed's cut. When the feeds come back on, David is talking alone directly to the cameras. He's saying that he planted some seeds. He laid some seeds with Cody. They told him that he made a mistake in nominating someone on the block for the 5th time in a row. I'm not really sure where David's going with that particular point of information, if he wants to make Cody regret what he did. I don't know. We'll find out as we go through, but we only got a tiny little bit of that conversation when the feeds came back on. All right, so in the love room, David and Kevin are talking. They've made a deal, and it's interesting. They've made a deal that if either one wins a veto, pulls himself off the block, the other one promises, or whoever wins a veto and pulls himself off the block promises that they won't vote for the other person who's still on the block. They won't vote to send them home. So they're trying to watch each other's back in case one of them gets the ability to come off the block. Both of them are also agreeing, and I think they're right, that they're the only two that actually want to change these nominations. That if anyone else in this house plays in a veto, wins veto, they're not changing the nominations. I think they're right. David is also talking still about this Ian vote a while back, a couple of weeks back. He's saying that that he thinks they tried to pin the Ian vote on him just so that Kevin and David would be at odds with each other, not trust each other, and be more likely to vote against each other when they were on the block again. Hence their agreement that they're not going to vote each other out if either one of them gets a chance to vote. Kevin is also saying he's a little upset with Ian. He says, Ian threw me under the bus to Cody, some of the things he said. What Kevin doesn't realize is that Cody made up a few things that he blamed on Ian, said Ian told me this because he knows that Kevin can't fact check with Ian since he's already out of the house. But Kevin is upset because he thinks that Ian actually told these things to Cody. So he's a little upset with Ian on that part. They are agreeing that they kind of messed up on the whole Ian vote. Now that they know that Davon was working with Danny and Nicole, they're saying we should have never told Nicole anything about that vote. Yeah, they're kind of right. You got to be very quiet and careful about the secrets you keep in this game. Kevin is saying again that David should be good this week, unless Kevin wins veto, and then we'll see what happens. So in the key room, Memphis doesn't think anyone will use a veto other than David and Kevin, as we just talked about. I agree, but here's the thing. My question is, who is willing to play for the veto instead of the prizes today? It's one thing to not really want to use a veto, but are you going to make everyone think, show everyone, indicate to everyone that you feel so safe that you're not even going to try for the veto, that you're going to go for the prizes? That's going to be interesting to see who does which in this veto competition. Who feels that safe? Danny already told Nicole that she's playing for prizes, but don't tell Cody. So we know Danny's doing it. We know that Christmas also is wanting to play for the prizes. So we'll see today. All right, Christmas is telling Memphis that Davon confirmed that there was a group of 4 working together: Davon, Nicole, Danny, and Cody. So now Christmas and Memphis know that Nicole, Danny, and Cody are still a tight group of 3. So as you start looking at targets, keep that in mind. All right, in the HOH room, Danny and Cody are talking. They're wondering who won the money in this HOH competition. Still a big issue. Tyler eventually admitted that he was one of the 2 that won $5,000, but no one else knows who the other one was. We'll find out on Sunday on the episode. In the HOH room, Cody and Danny are talking. Cody again talking about the conversation with Kevin, rehashing that Kevin said Davon would have targeted Cody if she had won the HOH. He says, so if she was going to do it, well, Kevin was real tight with Davon, but he's also saying that Kevin is ruining the integrity of All Stars if he becomes a bitter juror, threatening his vote for Final 2 and everything. He says he is ruining the integrity of All Stars if he goes through and becomes a bitter juror. Well, I kind of think the integrity ship has sailed as a result of the rampant pre-gaming, Cody. So maybe we got some other things to worry about when we talk about that. But he thinks being a bitter jury ruins the integrity. So he is not happy with that threat that's been made. All right, so in the photo room, Danny and Nicole are talking. They talk for quite a while in the photo room. That could have been the key room, now as I look at that. But anyway, Danny asked Cody if he had talked to Tyler about a Final 4. Because she tells Nicole that Tyler has brought up a Final 4 conversation to Danny twice. That's him, her, Cody, and Nicole. But Danny says that Cody said, nah, I never mentioned that to Tyler. He's got something going on. There's something screwy with that because I never talked to him about a Final 4 of that sort. So a little miscommunication, a little false information being discussed here and there. They're talking about Christmas. Danny feels that Christmas is gunning for them. And Danny is saying that Cody doesn't consider Tyler a threat, but that she really wants Christmas gone. She's going to try to get into Cody's head, give him some worst case scenarios so he can think about it. If he waits too long to take a big shot, what could happen? Again, Christmas is Danny is gunning for Christmas, so she wants to try to convince Cody that a backdoor is certainly a viable option. She also says that the other thing too, that we need to tell Cody is that Tyler and Christmas are a definite Final 2. Nicole, though, is worried. She says, look, if we go after Christmas, if we backdoor, then we're the only 2 women left. That's kind of rough. And that Davon went on and on, said, do not vote out Christmas next and have her follow me. We got to get some women staying safe in this house. So Nicole's kind of throwing out that side of the argument, but Danny is ready to go after Christmas. Danny also is talking about that if Memphis comes after a committee member, Tyler's going to be first. Nicole says she thinks she's going to be next. So again, we're seeing people starting to target within this alliance. It's coming, guys. Trust me. It's coming, and it's going to be glorious. All right. Danny is saying that if the block ends up on the block ends up between Kevin and a backdoor Christmas, they should tell Kevin that the boys are just going to keep putting you up over and over again, Kevin. So if we backdoor Christmas, send her home, you need to align with us. So they want to try to start protecting their group by trying to bring Kevin in to replace Christmas if she's out the door. So finally, in the HOH room, Enzo and Cody are talking towards the end of the evening. Enzo is telling Cody all about the 2 separate Wise Guy alliances. Now remember, one Wise Guys alliance was with Memphis and Enzo and Cody. The other one was with Memphis, Enzo, and Christmas. Well, Enzo's telling Cody about the other Wise Guy alliance with Christmas. So Memphis's kind of secret spoil a little bit. They're talking about the possibility of a Christmas backdoor this week if Kevin or David wins a veto, or if Cody wins it and wants to pull someone off and put Christmas up. So it's certainly being discussed. So again, Christmas, you shoot for those prizes, but don't be surprised if things don't go quite your way as a result of it. We shall see. All right, guys, y'all have a great day. I'll talk to y'all in 24 hours. SKD 143 and Giga Maggies. Bye, guys. Talk to y'all later.